What do you wish you'd known before starting down this screenwriting path?
I wish I had known how difficult it would be and how much of my life my choice, not complaining, would be given up for it. And wouldn't have it any other way. I could change a few things in the past, but that's only because of lack of experience and knowledge that you have now. You can only look back and say, oh, I would never have done that, or boy, did I blow that opportunity. You know, which in my book, I have those kind of stories and also disciplines about that. And you know, you never, even whatever level you get to, you still make mistakes and you still go, well, I shouldn't have done that, but you hopefully make fewer of them. But just to realize how, I mean, out of film school, you know, the spec was crazy, money was going for specs, and we all thought we would just, you know, write a good spec and have a career, you know, and some did. But the amount of time it takes and how it can affect your life, you know, the pursuit of this, like I was thinking recently that I don't know if I would, today, if I was 11 years old, that I would go, you know, but see, I can't say because I only have hindsight, but I don't know if I would pursue it today. You know, the business constantly evolves and changes. And I always say, wow, I wish I had worked in the 40s as a writer. You know, it would have been, you know, of course, like in the one movie, everybody's looking back at a different era with romanticized, oh, the 40s weren't it. You should have been a writer in the 30s. The 30s, well, pretty much before then, movies weren't around. You know, the 20s, okay, but, you know, and then authors were the big thing, you know. So we always look back, but the main thing I think was, which I tell writers today, you know, this is going to be a long haul. You don't think it is for you. I know it. I know you don't. You're going to be different, and you could be, but it's going to be a long haul. It is for everybody. If you talk to anybody, and you know on your videos that you interview everybody has a different story of how they. And I don't like to say make it, because you never make it, in my opinion. We're always looking for our next job. You know, we are as writers. You're on a TV show, the show ends. You get residuals, great, but you got to get your next gig. You're always gigging. You're always looking for, you know, unless you have your own production company and a funnel of money, then you can call all the shots. But you're always looking for your next job. So making it is getting your next job. And the first one, I always say, is the hardest, but the second one's pretty difficult too. And then your third, and then your fourth and fifth, and you're like, oh, wow. And they're not always in sequence, meaning they don't always come right after each other. There are periods that are dry, and not for lack of trying. It's just the nature of the beast, of the business. There'll be slow periods, and there'll be, oh my gosh, I've got so much work, I don't even know what to do. You know, and everyone's journey is going to be different of how they break in. And so I was saying earlier about networking, you know, extremely important about getting those relationships and not just being, you know, oh, you're my contact, I expect you to help me. Be a good contact. Help people out if you can. You know, I've done it so many times when I see a job, they didn't know, I call, hey, you better call so-and-so, they got the job. Now they say, oh, it's because of you. I go, no, it's because of you, but I just happened to see that opportunity and tell you about it. You know, and people remember that. They remember completely for years and years that, you know, a friend of mine still to this day says, you got me 5 years on a TV show. I said, it wasn't me. He goes, no. If you, and he knew the producer anyway, but he wasn't in the right time, right place. And all I did is bring it up at a dinner, and I said, well, what's going on? I said, whoa, he's actually looking for work. Really? Why don't you have him give me a call? It was that easy. Or it's that difficult. If you're not at that dinner, somebody else is going to get that job. Now, of course, he has the experience and all that stuff. We're not talking about that, but we're talking about the absolute weird, you know, somebody leaves home and, you know, at 9 o'clock, and if they left at 9:30, the bus wouldn't have hit them. We don't know about it. It's weird stuff going on, you know. So, yeah.
Even if you were able to look back at age 11 or whenever it was, let's suppose you chose a different route and that was to be, have your own carpet cleaning business and you were the best carpet cleaner in all of your, the Tri-City area.
Oh, yeah.
Do you think that you'd be standing in that same spot saying, I don't know, this was much harder than I thought? Do you think that for every profession somebody goes to, or any endeavor, that most people say the same thing? That it was much harder than I thought?
Yes, but I think the film business even more so, because I don't love the carpet cleaning business, but I don't know how 50,000 scripts a year are bouncing around it. You know what I mean? Everybody's trying to do the same thing, at least in LA. Many people are, and across the world everywhere, because everyone wants to be a filmmaker. Suddenly it's like, oh, everybody wants to be a filmmaker. Really? Oh, okay. Great. When I was 11, not everybody wanted to be a filmmaker. We had our little weird clique, of maybe 5 of us, but we were looked upon as, the film nerds, like film, you know what I mean? So it's the democratization of filmmaking because it's accessible to everybody. So we all can try it. That's absolutely great. But then you learn if you really have a passion for it, and you can, but then there's that other thing about getting a job. You can make your own movie, that's fantastic, but you have to, there's people who make movies and it's on Amazon and that's fine. And I don't know how many clicks it gets, if you want a wide range of something, it depends on how you set your goals. And a lot of times, as the more you get knocked around in the business, many times your vision of what it was changes just by the fact of, you get older, and you start to be like, wow, okay, well, I wanted to hit for that, this, and you go, I'm okay with this, You know what I mean? Things change from what you originally thought at 11, but you got to keep that wide-eyed dreamer alive. Otherwise, it's all gone. So that 11-year-old kid is still in here somewhere, even though the jaded person is, but you got to keep that inside of you because that what keeps you going. Like we were talking about going to a movie theater and the popcorn and the lights go down and you're like, take me, and you're like, the magic of cinema, the movies, and that's just it just clicked with me. It wasn't carpet cleaning, it wasn't being a lawyer, that's what I want to do. And thank God I had a friend who got a camera, and maybe I would have, eventually I got one of my own, but that spark sort of clicked at the same time, So who knows? I mean, who's to say? And I had very supportive parents. That's also important, who said, go for it. We never got to do what we wanted, and it's going to be tough, but we'll be here to back you up. And that helps to have someone in your corner who believes in you rather than, has the doubts and, whispers in your ear, oh, what do you think? You're going to sell something? Yeah, you're right. All right, I may as well give it up now. Get a refund for that software,
You think jaded is being, and I'm not saying you're jaded.
I'm not jaded. I was joking.
But there is a level that's needed, don't you think? To a protective layer?
Sure, absolutely. And it only comes from getting, like I say, knocked around. So the wide-eyed kid on one side and the boxer on the other going, I'm going to, because I've been down that road before. I've been in that situation. I was taken advantage of because I allowed it, because I wasn't smart enough. Not smart enough, but I didn't have the information I needed to say no. And no is an okay thing to say when you say, this isn't for me. You're dangling, carrots and riches, and I'm walking away. And I did to a certain extent with that spec. A company wanted to buy it outright and, to tell me to walk away. And, I needed the money at the time. Sure, it would have been, it's not, life-changing money. If it was, who's to say? But it was sort of like, yeah, okay, I can make that in, how many months doing my waiting job, but I wasn't going to walk away. I said, this doesn't feel right for me. I'm going to just take this back, and, someday somebody will find it, and they did. And it happens, and it doesn't happen, but there's no guarantees in this business. But the only guarantee, as I always say, is the mantra, is that if you stop writing, you're really guaranteed to have no chance of success. So you can only look in the mirror and complain to yourself if you're not doing the work. And you can blame Hollywood, you can blame your agents, you can blame, I'm a victim, blah, blah, blah. No, if you're not doing the work, then you only have yourself to blame. And the minute you stop doing the work, then you're out of the game. You're in the game, doesn't mean if you sold something or not, as long as you're writing screenplays and you've got a cohesive plan and you've got a schedule. I was reading something recently, a writer said, yeah, I do 3 scripts a year. I'm like, that's great. I did 3 last year, assignments, but, and tried to work on a spec, but okay. But if you have a plan of what you're gonna do, not just not have a plan and kind of wing it, time goes by so fast, You turn around and it's 5 years and you're like, oh, wow, what happened? Every year reevaluate. On my blog, I have a year-end checklist. It has 7 points and it says, reevaluate the last year. Don't beat yourself up, but learn from it. What did you excel in? What did you fail in? Where's your strengths and weaknesses, like we were talking about for writers? What do you have to improve on? Take it seriously, not just, oh, I'm gonna write a script, because it's you incorporated. There's no one out there pushing you, and we all decided to go down this journey. No one forced any of us, so you have to take responsibility for yourself and also your career plans of what you're going to do.
Do you write down all of some of the things that you thought you could improve on, or you just put that out there, like for 2019, the end? Mm-hmm. Did you put down specific things that you...
Oh, in the blog? Mm-hmm. Yes.
You did, okay. What were some of those things that you either could have done better or that you were really happy that you did?
Well, what projects did you work on? What did you have in your arsenal? Was it scripts? Was it TV pilots? Was it pitches? Was it outlines? In your folder of wherever it is in your computer, what's in your arsenal? What do you got? And what are you working on? And what's going to be finished first? And what do you think? You got to strategize. And what are you going to do with that script? What are your plans? I'm going to enter Nickel Fellowship. Great. I'm going to do this and that. Fantastic. I've got a contact at blah blah blah. So now you have a goal, and you set those goals. And okay, where did you fail? What did you make mistakes on? Okay, I sent this script out too early. They gave me horrendous notes. Or I failed. I didn't get in this festival or whatever. That's, again, festivals are a whole nother story. But you can't look at it as failure if you didn't win a festival. But I'm just saying, failures that you expected to happen in a positive manner that didn't. That's what I mean about that. Or outright failures. They rejected the script and said it was horrible, things of that nature. And then, with networking, who did I meet? Keep a log of that and follow up. New Year's is a great time to send out that email. Hey, always look for a reason. Not just a cold call email to somebody you may have met. It's like, hey, I just want to wish you Happy New Year. I hope your project's doing well. I happen to be working on this and blah, blah, blah. Things like that, of that nature. Cards are old school, but they're a great way. Again, if you get that card, I was told that the assistants put the handwritten cards on top of the mail. So when the mail comes in, the handwritten stuff's on top. So whose card is going to be there? Hey, Happy New Year. And you're like, hey, remember that Mark guy?
And
there he is.
There he is.
Yeah, that's my ride.
I know. It's taking you to the studio.
Exactly.
Right now.
So you remember that Mark guy? Yeah, it puts you back on the radar, and it's old school. Email's like so cold, and so various things like that, where you look over the past year and analyze it honestly, and then what are you going to do this year? What do you have plans? I mean, the year goes by fast, so what are you doing? Instead of like, well, I set up a schedule. I want to finish the script by March 1st, and damn it if I'm not going to meet that. And I only have to do 2 pages a day. Great, rain or shine. Just like talking about studying martial arts, rain or shine. my Sifu says, "Did you study today?" I said, "Yes." Okay, and boy, talk about procrastination. It's like, yeah, it's late. Last night I did my training, and I didn't want to, but it becomes ingrained, where then you do want to, and then when you see results of that, you want to even more, because nothing's done if you don't do it. I mean, it sounds so simple, but same way with writing. So by March 1st, I don't want to hear somebody who committed to that, made a self-commitment to themselves, which is the worst thing for me to break, a commitment to myself, because, I don't like to do it to others, but to yourself. And and unless something terrible comes up, right? But you finish it by March, you're like, damn, I can hit a deadline, And I'm not expecting it to be amazing, but I got a first draft done. And now what are you going to do with it? I'm going to go through the thing and, you know what I mean? So it's just being aware of just not like treating it like a business almost, of like, we have to have plans for this thing that's you, the screenwriter, to get you to these different levels. So,
would you say that you are a working screenwriter 7 days a week in terms of you work on your career in one fashion or
something.
another?
I say screenwriters don't get weekends off, and this weekend will be exactly the case, because today, before I came, I got notes again from a polish of a script I've been, I wrote on assignment, and I want to turn it around as fast as possible, because I want the thing made, and so. And there's sometimes, but something in my life always has to do with screenwriting. Something always is something. You can't just. There are times when I can be away from it, but then I start getting antsy, because I like to work and I like to create. So, it's a big part, which is the way I've planned it. I want it to be a big part of what I do. So, yeah.